There are so many things to do when preparing for your next performance. There are lyrics to remember, there are notes to nail. You've got to be physically and mentally prepared. Well, I'm in the middle of preparing for my next performance, so I thought I'd take us through a whole range of things that I do in preparation for my next show. And I know that some of the tips and tricks are going to really help you prepare for your next performance, so stick around, we're going to get into it right after this.
Sound check. Check 1, check 2.
Hi, my name's Dr. Dan. Welcome to Voice Essentials, where we develop your voice and improve your sound, because here at Voice Essentials, we believe every voice deserves to be heard. Well, as I said, I'm preparing for my next show, and as I was going through and getting ready, I thought, there are some things that I've just learnt to do over the years that I think you guys will find helpful. So one of the first things that I usually think about when I'm preparing is, where do I practice? Well, in my case, I practice here in my studio. I've got a set up dedicated studio that I use to teach in, and I also use it to practice in. So the first thing you want to think about is, where are you going to practice? Certainly a private space is going to be better than maybe doing it in a living room where people are constantly walking past, and you can start to feel a little bit insecure and vulnerable about the notes and the mistakes, because good practice is all about exploration and making plenty of mistakes. The mistakes are there to be made during practice so that they don't get made during the performance. The second thing is, how are you practicing? The show I'm doing next week, in fact, by the time this goes live, I'll have already done the show. So anywho, when I'm preparing for this show, I'm practicing a lot to tracks. That being said, I'm actually going to be doing it with a live accompanist. But the tracks allow me to really practice my phrasing, my notes, remembering my lyrics. You might be practicing self-accompanied on a guitar or even on a keyboard, but sometimes it is good to step away and just focus in on your voice, because when we're playing or playing, what can happen is you can become really focused on the chords and what you're doing there, and you forget about what you're doing with the voice. And then when you come to performance, oh dear, I haven't spent enough time working on this. I've spent most of my time doing this. The big one I think that most people do forget is the mental preparation. A lot of us in our preparation for the next performance spend a lot of time actually thinking quite negatively about it. The one thing that I think most of us really need to work on is being mentally prepared correctly. And so not thinking about, oh, what am I going to do? I know I'm just going to forget my lyrics. It's all going to go haywire and go pear-shaped. And no, you really need to, if you are putting in the time, the effort, and you're being disciplined with regular practice, there's no reason to think like that. You'll have put in the time and the effort. And the one thing that really cultivates nerves is a lack of preparation. So make sure that you are readying yourself with that disciplined practice, and then mentally you can step on the stage going, I got this, baby. I know exactly what I'm doing. I've really thought through it. And that brings me to another thing that I'll often do. I visualize on a regular basis. And you can't always visualize exactly where you're going to be, especially if it's a venue you're not used to. But I often visualize myself in front of the audience, talking with them, communicating with them. And that's a really positive thing to do, because you are placing yourself into the space with a sense of confidence. Not a haughty, arrogant sort of overextension of your own skills, but simply an opportunity for you to be in the space and see it. Now, sometimes you need to sit down and do that with your eyes closed. A second thing you can be doing along those lines, in that visualization, is sometimes in the preparation towards a gig, our voices, whether we get sick or whatever, mean that we're not able to actually practice. And so what I often encourage my students to do, and I've done it in the past myself, is I will sit down, I'll play the track, and I will mentally sing the song in my head. So I'm running the lyric, I'm running the notes, I'm not singing the notes, but I am actually running the notes in my head. And at the same time, I am once again visualizing the performance. I'm visualizing myself in the space, getting the lyrics right. The lyrics are the big one for me. Lyrics are right, my notes are right, and everything is happening in a really positive sense. The other thing you've got to do is be physically prepared. And a lot of young performers, people who have not had a lot of experience in performance, our nerves get the better of us. And as we get closer to that what is often in our heads, this D-Day of performance, our anxiety starts to rise. And that's understandable. You know, when you're doing it for the first time, our performance anxiety can get a little bit carried away, a little bit the better of us. But what that anxiety can do is it really eats away into your overall vitamin C levels, and it deteriorates your immune system. So in preparation physically, firstly, up your vitamin C. Secondly, make sure you're getting plenty of sleep. Thirdly, make sure you're drinking plenty of water. Fourthly, try to avoid hanging around with people who have got the cold. At the end of the day, whether it be in a week or in a month's time, you've got to stand up and present your song, and you're not going to be able to do that to the best of your ability if your voice is sick.
Sound check.
Finally, the final thing I want to just show you is I often prepare in front of a mirror. Now what I've got here is my phone. I'm going to just hopefully be able to take some footage of this so that you can all see what I'm talking about. Now I just want to show you, there's the mic, I always perform in front of a mirror, or practice in front of a mirror I should say. Now the reason for that is I don't want to find myself doing things in my performance where I'm doing funny little nuances or little habits that are going to distract the audience. I want to see that before my audience does. So what I do things to really, I look at my facial expression, I look at my physical, the use of my body, I look at the way I'm using the microphone and the microphone stand, and it's all in order to make sure that when it comes to performance, I've already seen the show. And the reason I've seen it is because I've been watching myself as I perform. Now, working with a mirror can take quite a bit of practice, but it's practice that will be invaluable when it comes to you workshopping and putting your performance on stage.
Sound check.
I know that there are a range of other things that you can do in preparation for your performance. What is it that you do in preparing for your next show? And there are many people here at Voice Essentials that have got a bucket load of performance experience, and I know all of us here at Voice Essentials can help each other out by just dropping a comment in the section below. You might also like to give the video a thumbs up. That's always helpful. It encourages me that we're all on the right track in the videos that I'm making. And if this is your first time here at Voice Essentials, we would love you to be a part of our Voice Essentials community, where we develop our voices and we improve our sounds, because we believe that every voice deserves to be heard. But until I see you in the next Voice Essentials video, after you've subscribed, of course, my name's Dr. Dan. Sing well.